Instead of cutting sugar, try this to control diabetes. What if I told you sugar isn't the villain? Would you believe it? Probably not. You hear this everywhere, online, from people, even doctors. It's widely accepted. This belief has been around for decades and still persists. I'll explain why it's false and why sugar isn't your main enemy. Sounds controversial, right? But you'll understand. Watch till the end. And I'm sure this sugar myth will be debunked. You'll learn to control diabetes better. Let's start by explaining that sugar is a term we use for carbohydrates. The simpler the carb, like table or refined sugar, the faster it's digested. So it'll spike and cause a bigger peak in blood sugar levels. Even sugar from fruit will raise your blood sugar levels. Although fruit doesn't have added sugar, it contains carbohydrates. When digested, carbohydrates turn into sugar due to metabolism. Eating starchy rice, for example, is also converted to sugar by your body. Simply put, carbohydrates are essentially the same as sugar. Patients often say, I can't control diabetes, but I've cut out sugar. They say, no sugar in coffee, no cakes, no sweets, but my blood sugar's still high. They say my A1C is over 8, it's 9, 10, sometimes even higher than 10. I check capillary blood glucose, the test you do with a glucometer, a glucose meter. Levels higher than 180 milligrams per deciliter. If you're in a country using millimoles per liter, 180 equals 10. So results higher than 10 millimoles per liter. When I start talking, I ask, you cut sugar, but levels are still high. How come? Then they explain they're not eating refined or table sugar, but other foods rich in sugars and carbs. You end up overdoing rice, pasta, and even some starchy vegetables, which are high in sugar. The body will digest all of this. So lesson 1, cutting sugar won't help if you eat lots of carb-rich foods, especially in large amounts. Why did I say not to cut sugar when I mentioned it raises blood sugar? The key is to make smart choices. To avoid blood sugar spikes, don't eat meals of just potatoes, pasta, or rice. Ideally, pair main meals with a protein source or fiber. If eating a banana, add fiber like chia or flax, or pair it with eggs. Diabetics can eat bread, but moderation is crucial. Consume carbs, but choose wisely and pair with fiber or protein. Fats slow sugar absorption, lowering food's glycemic index. Avocado, for instance, is a source of healthy fats. Some enjoy bread with avocado. Who likes that? I'm not a fan, but many people enjoy this combo. Besides bread carbs, you're adding more fat. It's healthy fat, but still a high-calorie meal, so you need to watch your calorie intake too. A study found that over 45 factors can affect blood sugar levels. Just to give you an idea, viewing sugar as the sole villain is too simplistic. You can't control diabetes by focusing on sugar alone. Of course, some factors have more impact than others, like sleep, routine, muscle mass, physical activity, and stress. What happens to your body when you're stressed? It increases production of cortisol and adrenaline hormones. And what do these hormones do? They raise blood sugar levels. So managing stress, routine, and other factors is crucial for blood sugar control. Be careful thinking sugar alone is harmful. A study found controlling total daily calories is as important as sugar intake. Some diets are better for this. That's why choosing a diet that suits you is important. That's the main point. Tip number 2 in this video is smart food swaps. Pair bread with shredded chicken, for instance. Or try low-fat cheese, ricotta, or eggs for protein. Choose high-fiber, high-protein foods to avoid sugar spikes. So you can see that the real solution is information and applying that information to your life, not just cutting out carbs. I'll share 2 more lessons in this video, but the second one is crucial. To lower the glycemic index, try this instead of completely cutting out carbs. Tip number 3, avoid extreme restrictions. Who can actually stick to a no-carb diet? Almost no one. I know only one person who can, and they're not diabetic. To be clear, zero-carb or keto diets aren't suitable for many diabetics. Besides being ineffective, it can be dangerous if you use insulin or have type 1 diabetes. Be careful what you believe online. Radical diets or cutting out sugar entirely isn't the answer. In fact, it can be very dangerous in some cases. Why is eliminating carbs from your diet risky for those with type 1 diabetes? We need to understand that the disease works differently. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. Your body attacks insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. Since you don't produce insulin, type 1 diabetes treatment always requires insulin injections. The symptoms appear more rapidly. Classic diabetes signs: extreme thirst, frequent urination, weight loss, fatigue. Various symptoms show up in type 1 diabetes. Blood sugar levels typically rise much faster in type 1 diabetes. In type 2 diabetes, you have insulin. Your body often produces too much, but it can't function properly. What's the role of insulin? It takes sugar from the blood and puts it into cells and muscles. Type 2 diabetes symptoms usually develop slowly, as blood sugar levels rise gradually. That's why many people discover it during routine tests, without any symptoms. A big challenge is convincing symptom-free patients they need treatment, but there are differences. Since type 1 diabetes requires insulin, if you completely cut out carbs from your diet, you might trigger ketosis, which is the production of ketone bodies. This process is particularly dangerous in type 1 diabetes because you'll need insulin. You'll also need a minimum amount of carbs to keep your body functioning well and maintain proper control of the disease. What are the chances you'll go your whole life without eating bread, or never eating cake, or avoiding sweets entirely? There's a small amount you can safely consume. I allow myself occasionally too. It won't make me diabetic. Be wary of extreme views like carbs are totally forbidden or never do this or that. Usually, they're just trying to sell you something. I see this a lot online, especially since it wasn't that simple before. It was like, cut sugar, done. No more refined sugar, no diabetics. But it's not really like that. So we need to be discerning. The fourth lesson is, a diet can be healthy but not ideal for glucose control. Let me give you an example. Grape juice. Grape juice has anti-inflammatory properties and polyphenols. Studies show its health benefits, but it's not good for glucose control. Why? When you make juice, you remove fiber, leaving high concentrations of carbs and natural fruit sugars, but no fiber. So it's not good for people with diabetes. Sometimes even a healthy diet isn't ideal for diabetics. You also need to give it time. Don't expect results in 3-4 days or a week after starting a nutritionist's diet or doctor's advice. I get messages from patients saying, "Oh, it's not working." They say, "I made changes, but it's practically the same." But controlling blood sugar levels is a long-term process. The HbA1c test only shows reliable changes after 90 days, reflecting average blood sugar levels. So there's no point in short-term worry. You don't need to control it for tomorrow. No, make healthy changes that are good for blood sugar control and give it time. Without those extreme measures, I'm totally against. Regular viewers of this channel already know this. Did you enjoy this video? On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate it? Did you understand my explanation? If so, comment "I got it" below so I know how many people are understanding and benefiting from these videos. It motivates me to create more content. Have you realized this big myth has been debunked? I'll recommend a video for you to watch next where I discuss supplements. Do you think omega-3 supplements are beneficial? What about calcium supplements? Did you know they can be harmful? In this video, I explain this and discuss 9 supplements you should be cautious about. Until next time, take care.